Take your hat off.
First of all, Merry Christmas. I wanted to first just congratulate Chuba Hubbard, NFC Offensive Player of the Week. Just what an incredible accomplishment, and a great season that he's having, and just the example of consistency, of hard work, Panthers football, our style, all that stuff personified. So I'm just really proud to be a part of that. And I know if Chuba was up here, he'd be giving all the love to the big boys up front, the tight ends, the receivers in there blocking, especially late in the game. They're all guys with finishing with hands on. So just wanted to start off with that.
So in the spirit of Christmas, are you a Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2 guy?
All of them, all the Home Alones. We ran through them, and we're a big Elf family as well. So Will Ferrell's is a hit in our household, soundtrack-wise. The Star, that's another really good one. Let's see, Road to Bethlehem, that one came out a couple years ago. And then the latest one was The Greatest Christmas Pageant. It's a new one. It's pretty touching, pretty cool movie. So yeah, we're running through them like crazy right now, especially Lizzie with the kids off of school. So they're going through all the Christmas movies.
You can watch the random third Home Alone?
We don't watch number 3. We haven't. Yeah, I gotta say 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
Dave, we saw X out there. Well, I guess you have 2 X's, but we saw Leggett out there practicing.
Yeah.
How is the hip doing? What's the latest on that?
Today was kind of a half-speed day, mixed in with some walkthrough stuff. So, again, we'll have to, get him out there. We will not practice tomorrow, but when we come back Thursday, we'll be able to crank the speed up and take a look at him there. So we'll go day-to-day with him, but he looked fine moving around today.
Is it a possibility he'll play?
Yes, absolutely.
We also saw Miles out there. I don't know how much he's been out there since the injury, but is this just kind of part of the onboarding process?
Yeah. Just every day he's got to go out there and just continue to, clear the protocols, really, and just take it day by day.
Your wide receiver room, they're playing through a lot of injuries. I mean, David's kind of beaten up, so is Jalen. How is Dan Chisina, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, how has he played and stepped up over the last few weeks?
It's Chisena. He's done great.
Okay.
He's done a fantastic job just being ready to go. A guy that gives us, some speed. He can stretch the field. He's had a couple of targets, and made the most of them. A big third down catch, in the game, and then, he plays special teams. He can cover kicks, as a gunner. He can play in the vice. A lot of things. So he's making the most of this opportunity and showing us what he can do.
Tight ends you just kind of addressed. Tommy had a couple of big catches last week against Arizona. Is that position with JT kind of coming back and working his way back from the injury? Are you seeing a little more perhaps volume for those guys the last few weeks?
Yeah, they've been a big part of what we're doing, in the run game and the pass game. And, Tommy's had some really great plays, over the past couple of weeks, coming up with some opportunities, breaking tackles, and stretching the field for us. So he's done a great job. We expect JT to get rolling when he gets his ops as well.
Are guys allowed to leave town the next 24 hours, or is it just as long as they're back by whenever?
Yeah, it's hopefully guys are just kind of laying low. We got to make sure that our bodies are right for this weekend, especially going down to Tampa where it's going to be a little warmer down there. So, hoping guys just take advantage of the rest, the day off to connect with family and all that. So I hope that's the plan.
What will this trip be like for you? I mean, you've already played Tampa and saw the familiar faces, but now you're going back. And so what is from the personal standpoint, I can't even talk, the personal standpoint of going back there, and we know the business side of it, what you're planning for in terms of the game.
It was a great year for the Canales family in Tampa. Made a lot of friends. I certainly was a part of a great organization, a lot of support. Todd Bowles giving me the opportunity and a bunch of guys that I really enjoyed going to work with every day. So that part's special, and I just got to approach every day like this is another game. This is another championship opportunity for us to work on our football, to go on the road, and play a really good opponent, so the focus is there. And I probably couldn't tell you exactly how I'll feel going back into the stadium, but I'm looking forward to the challenge of it. I'm looking forward to, calling on our best football, and that's first and foremost. But we certainly did make a lot of cool relationships down there.
Is it kind of hard to turn that off, though, as you're going? I mean, you know where you're going. You know that you're going to see people that work there, the attendance, that sort of thing, that I'm sure you've had relationships with. I mean, is it hard to turn that off, or do you allow yourself the pre-kickoff, hey, what's going on, and catching up, and then turn on the switch?
Yeah, certainly within the windows that I have, pregame, even when they came here and played in Bank of America Stadium, it was, connecting with the people that, we did a lot of hard work with, lived a lot of life with in a short amount of time. But I'm sure it'll be the same that way, and I think for me, like I always use gratitude as a grounding force for me, whether it's here, whether it's on the road. And this is just another opportunity to be grateful for opportunities, to be grateful for a lot of people that, these seasons are long. You go through a lot, and so for me, I'm sure the overwhelming feeling would just be thankfulness, gratitude, which will just, point me right back to our team and what we're working on and focusing on finishing strong.
Were you even contemplating this time last year that you could become a head coach after 1 year as a coordinator?
Honestly, I was focused on trying to make the playoffs and win the division. And, all the rest of the stuff takes care of itself. And we were finding a way to play really good football in Tampa last year around this time. And, had a string of wins. We lost one at home, against the Saints late. And so we had to come here, to Bank of America to win the division. And so that was really my focus. My focus was on the players, trying to make sure that we're putting them in the best position to be successful, and I knew the rest of the stuff would take care of itself.
That
Did you
was
see
pretty
any?
fast track to go from 1 year coordinator to here.
Yeah.
What made you feel that you could, that season and what you did with Baker could propel you to this?
Honestly, it was just opportunity and just looking for doors opened. And, I felt that, was I ready for this job? I didn't know, but I was ready to take on the challenge of it, and to learn the things I needed to learn. Don't know what you don't know, so you got to just go for it. And that's kind of just been a recurring theme of my career is when there's an opportunity, I'll volunteer myself for these opportunities, knowing there's some things I'm going to have to learn, but also knowing that there's a bunch of great people around me that could help me make decisions, and I got to talk about Coach Caldwell. I got to talk about Dom Capers, and the influence they've had, on me this year. And of course, Pete Carroll in my back pocket at any time, really available at any time to take a phone call or a text. And so a bunch of people that I'm grateful for, and for sure this staff, of guys that I got to know, the defensive staff that was here, and then the offensive staff and people that I worked with before who knew the culture that we were going to try to put into place. And so I knew that I had a lot of great help coming into this.
You mentioned a bunch of former coaches there. Did Ron Rivera was in the building Sunday calling the game?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to see him before the game or after?
I did not. I was not able to see him in person, but I just got to say, Coach Rivera has been so supportive throughout this whole time, encouraging, chiming in on watching our games and saying, hey, I see the progress here. I see where you guys are challenged in this area. See, these things, keep up the good work, and stay consistent with your messaging. Just keep a consistent focus that way so that the guys have something to lean on. And so he's been really encouraging, this whole season.
Did you see anything from the Bucs a couple weeks ago as opposed to when you were there last year that was maybe different from an offensive side?
Absolutely. I think Liam Cohen's done a great job. We tried to lay a foundation and kind of learning year one in a system, and Liam has experience in the same system when he was in LA, and then he ran a bunch of different things, including parts of the system at Kentucky, and really added to it and added some flavor. And so I watched them on film, and I kind of covet, some of the cool things that he's been able to incorporate, with this group, and he's done a great job of just with the changing dynamic of their receiver room, getting the ball to different players different ways, and using Rashad White and Bucky Irving. So he's done a great job of that, and it's just it is kind of strange, to watch the familiarity of some of the guys. See Baker take strides continually, improving his game, and that offensive line, just really solidifying themselves, adding a few people, but the growth all across the board. So it's going to be a great challenge for us, knowing that this offense does have some firepower in the run game and the pass game.
Dave, you brought up having gratitude for assistant coaches too. Your name's obviously attached to Bryce, but what has Will Harriger brought to that room and to Bryce and to Andy and really the offense?
Yeah, Will has done a fantastic job. He has taken all the basic fundamentals of our QB school, the things we take our guys through, the footwork drills. He calls it CNS drill, central nervous system. You're training the reactions, getting off platform, and all those things, all the things that I believe in, training your quarterbacks to have to deal with pockets that can shift on you, pressure looks, different things like that, and I enjoy just being in that QB room, the cut-ups, the hours that he spends building these cut-ups to bring the plays to life, to show different looks. It could be from 2 seasons ago on a different team, but the same type of defensive structure, trying to attack these voids, and just the way that he tries to bring it to life. And he's really entertaining too. And he's got all these crazy sayings. You know, he's from Lubbock, Texas. He calls it the cradle of toughness, and, you know, the Texas pride that we have to fend off between him and Andy, you know, and Bryce and I have to remind him there's been a lot of great quarterbacks that come out of California, you know, so there's a good battle in there, you know. Mike Berkovici's in there as well, another guy that, you know, spent time in California. And so he just keeps it lively. He does a great job, you know, and I got to say, like, you know, as far as, you know, the growth of our quarterback room, the production and all that, there's nobody more important in that room than Will Harriger and the work that he's been doing with those guys.
When Joe was asking about Ron, he gave you a lot of credit when I was talking to him the other day for the development of Bryce and the way you brought him along. And when I asked you about the play calling, he feels like that you have significantly changed the way you call a game with Bryce. And what do you say to all that? I'm just curious, how much is that is just him seeing that, or is that actually something you consciously had to do?
I mean, it's, first of all, like, I appreciate Coach Rivera's, you know, encouragement on that. And I think it's just at the heart of, you know, the guys that I admire around the league, the play callers and the people who develop quarterbacks and offensive systems, they try to find what's best for their group. And they're so committed to that you can see things added. You can see things leave from concepts that I know they love, concepts that I know they are a part of their system. But we have to become what our players are. We have to become what Bryce does well. We have to become what our receivers can run with speed and confidence. And so that's my commitment to it. And hopefully it should look different, you know, between, you know, Andy, Bryce, you know, Baker last year, you know, Gino the year before, Russell, and I can see, you know, the evolution of these offenses because of what these guys do so well and trying to put them in their best position to be successful.
Speaking of that,
Did you not feel like you did that enough during that 0-2 start, that you had to find something different to get him to where he is now?
It's a part, yeah. It was a part of the learning process. You know, that stuff takes time. It does. So it's, regardless of who it is, you know, last year it was Baker, and it took weeks, you know, to find that sweet spot. And then we grew and grew, and then it got tighter and tighter. And then you just start reformationing the same type of concepts, the things that he does well, you know. So it's about becoming something, you know. It's a part of the process.
speaking of your development.
Hold on one second. We're gonna do Vashti, we're gonna do Jeff, and we're gonna do Darren. All right?
Thanks. Speaking of your development of quarterbacks, given your work with Gino, Baker, and now Bryce, you've been given the moniker quarterback resurrector. How do you feel about that? And is that something that you embrace?
Not really. I honestly, like, to me, the credit goes to these men. It goes to guys who are committed to excellence. It's all about these quarterbacks. It's all about Bryce, the courage to just continue to improve his game, to stay with it, to grow, to take in the concepts, to own it, you know, to make really great decisions, to verbalize the things he likes and he doesn't like as we go through the week. It's a willingness for these guys to be vulnerable. It's a willingness for these guys to work at it, you know, and to believe that they have greatness, to believe that they can have success and they can do these things. And so I just got to pay attention to the things they're telling me verbally and non-verbally, and then try to just make sure that we incorporate that part into what we're doing.
Hey, Coach, the wide receiver room is filled with undrafted guys. What do you need to continue to see from them, from those young guys, and do you see an increased role for Tompkins going forward?
Just week-to-week improvement. That's the focus for our guys. You know, we're playing the Bucs, so we're looking at coverages. We're looking at matchups. We're looking at how they play press man and all the different shells, and looking at our concepts and trying to be tight on the details. And that's the focus for the guys. So just looking for them to take another step.
Is that what Leggett and Coker were working on in the corner, the press coverage?
Yeah, they're just working different leverage, different setups at the top of routes and stuff like that. I'd love to see those guys working together and just working on their game, working on their team. That's the motto. That's the message for the guys. That's our approach every day.
Darren?
Right. Dave, Cass was trying to get in, so I'll yield my time to the distinguished one from Alabama.
Thank you. I was just going to ask, obviously you saw a lot from Damani in training camp to want him to stick around. What have you seen from him as he's gotten more and more adapted to this defense? And did you expect to get this much out of him his first year?
My expectations are always wide open for whatever players want to make it and whatever they want to become. And when they take advantage of opportunities, it's our job to see that, and to watch Damani just continue to work at his game, continue to be asking the right questions and taking good coaching, and he's made plays. He's come up and made open field tackles. He's come up with interceptions and those things like that. He's got so much he needs to work on. He's got so many things that can be cleaner from a communication standpoint, accountability, playing his leverage, doing all the things exactly right. It's not just about making plays. It's about doing things right longer than the opponent, and that's the goal for Damani. That's the challenge for him. He's got to realize the weight of this opportunity to continue to press in and to make it so that his teammates can count on him at all times. And so that's what I hope for him, is that he continues to press in and strive, to be somebody that your teammates can count on and respect.
Darren, get Darren's question.
No, go ahead. I'm good. All right, thanks, Kobe.
All right, thank you.